Okay, let's go.
Hello there, Chick Chat. We are back with another story of the week. And this is an Am I the Asshole from 8 days ago. And it's titled, Am I the Asshole for Calling the Police on My Boyfriend for Locking Me in the Bathroom?
Or locking her in the bathroom?
Mm-hmm. Okay. It starts, I, female 20, and my boyfriend, male 27, have been together for 2 years. Besides this event, he really is so kind to me and so good. I've never ever seen him like this. Basically, what happened was I went out to a coffee shop to study with a few friends. I'm in university and we have our midterms this week. I was there from about 8 a.m. to noon on Sunday. Today is Thursday as I'm posting this. My roommate is one of the ones who I was studying with, and she's also my best friend. I let her know that I was going to leave from studying to go to my boyfriend's. When I got to my boyfriend's, he told me that I smelled like coffee, my clothes and hair. I said, oh yeah, probably because, again, I sat there for like 4 hours. He said he really couldn't stand the smell and he needed me to change. I was planning on spending the night, so I had clothes, but I really didn't want to change right then and there, which is not the hill to die on. I see that now. I started a kind of heated argument. I ended up snapping on him, telling me to stop and leave me alone, or else I would leave. After me raising my voice, my boyfriend grabbed me by my shoulders and literally forced me into the bathroom. He locked me in there. I don't even know how. I was banging on the door and he told me that he wouldn't let me out until I washed my hair. I tried to get out for like 45 minutes, but he literally would not let me. We were arguing through the door. Eventually, I got in the shower, but even then, he wouldn't let me out. At this point, I was sobbing because I had a throbbing headache and I wanted out and was getting claustrophobic. He kept me in there for 3 hours. I was sitting down in my towel, sobbing, begging, and he would not let me out. Eventually, I realized that I had my phone and I called the police. I don't know why. I was just so desperate. I didn't want him to get in trouble. I just wanted clothes and to get out of the bathroom. The police showed up and my boyfriend let me out, and they talked to both of us for a long time. Obviously, nothing serious ended up happening, but my boyfriend has been pissed. He yelled at me so much when they left and asked me if I was an idiot and if I realized how much trouble we both could have gotten in. I told him that he shouldn't have locked me in there then, and that I was sorry, but not really. He hasn't accepted any of my apologies. Am I the asshole for this?
Absolutely not.
3 hours.
3 hours is excessive. First of all, the whole thing is excessive. Lock them in the bathroom until you wash your hair, and then they still took a shower. I don't understand this whole aversion to coffee. Did I misunderstand? Is that the whole problem? He doesn't like the smell of coffee?
Yeah, he must not like the smell of coffee, but it's
That
not
is
gonna
a
it's not like cigarettes. It's
completely
not gonna linger on her forever.
Yeah. Well, and it's a completely disproportionate response to the situation. Someone comes home and smells like coffee. Okay, sure, you don't like it. You can work at a manure place and come home and not. I mean, you can't lock someone in a bathroom for hours and expect that they're not going to do something to get themselves out. She already tried, she begged, she pleaded, she's exhausted, she's getting claustrophobic. What else is she going to do?
I get claustrophobic too. If somebody were to lock me in a room for more than an hour, probably,
Thank
I'm
God
gonna
she
start
had her
losing.
phone.
She's lucky she had her phone. It must have been in her pocket or something when he was pushing to forcibly push her into the bathroom. That's not okay. I don't care if he's been great to you this whole time. This is weird.
Maybe your idea of great might need to be examined. I don't know. I mean, just because he doesn't lock you in a bathroom doesn't mean he's necessarily great. This guy sounds pretty controlling to me.
I
Because I
mean, yeah,
just have a hard time believing if somebody's not super controlling, how do you go from really chill and flexible to locking somebody in the bathroom to wash their hair? This cannot be the first time that he's tried to pull something weird.
if this was his
Run, run,
first
run.
time, then
Run,
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 because that means
run.
that this is the
Run.
mild part. Imagine if you did something bad or something he truly didn't like. That's just a
Honestly.
smell.
This is a smell that he doesn't enjoy. You didn't lie to him. Like you said, you didn't actually do anything really wrong. Of course you
And
smell like coffee. You were at a coffee shop.
He could have just been like, okay, let's go air out. Let's go for a walk or something. Why should you have to take a full shower and change your clothes? I don't like the smell of cigarettes. But if Dean comes home smelling like a cigar, I might not kiss him until he brushes his teeth. But just because he smells like it doesn't mean it's going to linger on him forever.
And that would be the appropriate response. Yes, you're going to respond to a smell that you don't like. That's perfectly allowed. You're allowed to have aversions to smells. We all are.
Mhm.
But to lock someone in a bathroom over it, he could even have asked her, can you change your clothes and wash your hair nicely? And if she said no for whatever reason, that gives you no right to lock someone in a bathroom and treat them that way. You can't do that
Forcibly,
to
yeah.
kids. You can't do that to dogs. You can't do that to elderly people. You sure as F can't do it to your girlfriend or your wife. Stop it. Why would you even wonder why you're the asshole? I, again, wonder what is really going on in this relationship if she's blaming herself for this, because I would be leaving.
It's a schmooshiv to put your hands on somebody and force them into a bathroom. That is a schmoosh. I'm going to bleep that word because I know YouTube doesn't like it, but that is shishmusive to me. Because if he's willing to put his hands on you, because that is putting his hands on you to force you into a bathroom and lock you in there over a smell, what will he do if you do something worse?
Isn't there a charge for that, for imprisoning somebody, false imprisonment over coffee beans? He got mad at her probably because I'm sure a police officer said, hey, I don't know what they saw that they walked away from and decided it was okay, but in any other world, this is a legit charge. If you kept her in there overnight, if you kept her in there for long enough to hurt herself or do something, I mean, who knows? It's just insane. You don't do that to somebody you're in a relationship with at all.
And to argue about it violently for 3 hours through a door,
How
that's
could
crazy.
you even have the energy? I get her having the energy to try to get out of the bathroom, but how can he just sit there and try to reason? Like, what are you saying to her? There's no logic or reason or facts that you can tell her. You're just being shmushmushiv.
And then when she does what you want, you're still going to leave her locked in there. What was the end game here? If she didn't call the police, how long would she have really been in there?
That's what I'm saying. Thank God she had her phone, because what is it that he really wanted her to do? I think he probably would have just kept her in there. And that's the thing. If it wasn't shmushmusive before, it is now, because now he's completely in control. And the next time he asks her to go do something, she sure as F is not going to disobey him, because what's going to happen then? She's going to get locked in a closet. She's going to get locked in a basement, in a shed somewhere for God knows how long. This is just awful.
I don't care if he's been the greatest guy in the world to you. If he can lock you in a bathroom for 3 hours and listen to you cry and plead to come
Over
out.
your hair smelling like coffee. Again,
Mhm.
there's no reason at all you should get locked in a bathroom by your partner, but over something as small as your hair smelling like coffee, I could see maybe if you guys were in such a violent argument that he put you in the bathroom because you were being out of control or something and he was scared
Right.
to
If
let
you
you
were physically hitting him and he
out.
had to contain you to calm you down, I could see that.
That's actually where I thought when you read the title, because that's the only way somebody to me could question if they're the asshole in this situation.
Dean always talks to me about a time when he was with an ex-girlfriend and they were breaking up, and obviously like some bad things happened between them. There was some cheating stuff, whatever. But she called him over to get his stuff, and as he started getting his stuff, she started arguing with him again and she started physically hitting him. So all he did was he just tried to restrain her and put her in a different room because she was physically hitting him, and then she proceeded to go out and smash his windshield. So that to me is violent enough to be maybe restrained or whatever. I can accept that. But I can't accept if it was just an argument like, oh, you don't smell good. You can't get near me until you take a shower. And here, I'm going to force you into this bathroom. And if you don't take a shower, you can't come out. And then when you do take a shower, I'm still not going to let you out.
Yeah.
That's
It
controlling.
has nothing to do with your aversion to coffee. And I'm sorry if the problem here is an aversion to coffee, that's your problem. It is not her problem to deal with. You can tell her you don't like the smell. That's all you can do. You can't force her to take a shower. You can't force her to change her clothes. Just like you can't force her to be near you. It's just completely controlling in every single way. I hope that there's people in the comment section asking her questions like this, because I am sure that this is not the first time that he's controlled her in this way. This is just the scariest time.
And also, why a shower? Doesn't anybody have body spray or something here that they could have sprayed?
Coffee is pretty strong, especially if you're in a legit coffee shop. You can walk away sort of like when you walk into a Subway and you can't get that smell off. You really do have
Yeah.
to shower that smell off of you. Either way, then stay away from her if it's really that bad and she doesn't want to take a shower. I don't know what to
Yeah.
tell you.
Just be like, hey, why don't you come back later after
Yeah,
the
come
smell is
back
worn
later
off?
or open a window or spray some Febreze.
I'm not normally the kind to be like, you should leave this man or you should
You should
divorce
leave this
him or
man.
whatever, but you should leave this man. If he's showing these
Mhm.
kind of signs in the early sets of your relationship where you're like, oh, he's so great, but then this happened.
There's
Not
no
good.
excuse for that.
Most people's first fights are just a argument, a loud argument.
Say some mean things to each other that you wish you could take back. That's all.
You don't get
That's all.
locked in a bathroom and imprisoned in there. I know I'm pretty claustrophobic. If that were to happen to me, I would be already called the police within an hour, to be honest with you. You wouldn't have had me in there for 3. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Especially if I had my phone, I'm not just calling the police. I'm calling my friends so this way they know what happened to me. I'm calling everybody I know just in case something happens to me at this point. Because if you're willing to imprison me after I did what you said, no, it's a control thing too. Like
Yeah.
you said, now he knows that she's going to have to do whatever he wants because now she's afraid. Obviously, there's a size difference here too because he was able to easily force her into a bathroom.
Which is also a scary thing. He completely overpowered her physically. He didn't just imprison her, he overpowered her. He put her somewhere. He could put her anywhere in the future. That's the scary thing. That's the mind that's going to happen in her mind if she stays with him. Every single time he says, go do this, go do that, and she doesn't want to do it because she's a human and she's allowed to say no.
Even if she goes into a different relationship, she might be triggered by this. Might be afraid to oppose anybody.
She's probably not gonna be closing doors for a while, especially in bathrooms. This is a woman who's gonna pee with the door open for the rest of her life. I pee with the door open most of the time because I was locked in a closet on accident, but I was locked in a closet for a couple of hours, maybe not 3, probably like an hour and a half to 2 hours when I was younger with 2 of my friends. We used to play up in this attic, and there was a closet inside the attic, and we were all playing in the closet one day, and one of us happened to shut the door, and it was an old house, and the handle, it didn't fall off or anything, but it just didn't work. It wasn't functional, and I don't think any of us kids knew that at the time. So we were all stuck in this tiny closet of an attic. So it's like a tiny slanted ceiling, 3 kids.
Yeah.
I think I was probably 6, 7 years old, so my friends were probably 8, maybe 9, and they knew we were gonna get out because our parents were there, so obviously they were gonna come check on us at some point, but I could not fathom that someone was ever gonna be able to come get us out of there. I thought we were gonna have to live the rest of our lives in that tiny closet. I was terrified. So I don't close doors often. I don't really close my bedroom door. I don't close the bathroom door. I still have fears that doors are gonna close just on their own. I'm traumatized. I think she's gonna probably go through it, especially with another guy and living with somebody, and yes, that's not okay. You are not even close to the asshole. This is again another situation where the person who's asking, "Am I the asshole?" is actually the victim of an asshole.
At least you had people in that closet with you. Like she was completely alone.
And all of our parents were home. So now, as I'm an adult looking back, I knew we wouldn't have lived our lives or even been in there for very long. I don't even know if we were in there for an hour and a half. It could have even been 10 minutes. I thought it was an eternity.
Well, to a 7-year-old, everything's so much more dramatic.
Oh, totally. And actually getting us out was very difficult too because the door handle didn't work and the door was latched. We were stuck in there. So, I mean, they had to really bust in there, and that was scary. The whole thing was awful.
I'm just worried for her, even when it comes to the slightest argument with somebody else, that she's just not going to shut down and run away because you're afraid of being pushed into a closet or pushed into the basement or wherever. You don't know how long you might be held for.
That's a good
whatever
point.
they want.
If this is over coffee, then what's gonna happen when you burn dinner or something?
Exactly. Top comment says, not the asshole, and this guy is a psychopath. Please leave him and never speak to him again. Like, I'm seriously worried for your health and your life.
Yes. I'm gonna hype up every sentence of that comment. Absolutely.
Another comment says, in quotes, how much trouble we both could have gotten in. LMFAO, what? Only he would have gotten in trouble, and it would have been entirely justified, not the asshole.
The only reason he's trying to say she would have gotten in trouble is because he's trying to act as if he did nothing wrong, but he did do something wrong. He's trying to tell her she made a frivolous 911 call. No, she got herself out of the bathroom. Her goal was accomplished. Now she's unfortunately sitting here stuck with this guy who's borderline, if not already abusive.
Well, here's the thing, too. 911 operators, if you were to call them and be like, hey, I'm being imprisoned in a bathroom, it obviously is serious enough for them to send an officer over. If it wasn't that serious to them, they would not waste the police's time with it.
Yeah, or go inside of their house. That guy is trying to brainwash her now.
It took till the police got there for him to let him out. Like, I'm sure she was telling him, I'm about to call the police if you don't let me out. And he still probably did not let her out. Somebody commented under that comment and said, gaslighting to the highest degree. How can she get in trouble for him locking her in a room? It's insanity.
Yeah.
She does have quite a few comments. Somebody said, not the asshole. I'm surprised the police didn't take him in for false imprisonment. She said he lied about what happened.
Oh, I'm sure he did. And I'm sure they believed him. I didn't want to bring this up earlier because there weren't really enough comparisons, but this reminds me of Gabby Petito for some reason. The lying and the being able to kind of get away with something and the intimidation and control. It sounds a lot like their relationship sounded. And that's the thing. It only really took one time for him to get that angry. It doesn't sound like Brian Dirty Laundry had a big, huge history of being super violent either. He had a couple of times where he got mad and they had terrible fights, and then all of a sudden this girl ended up dead. It doesn't have to take more than one time.
You're completely right. It gives me chills a little bit.
So it freaks me out when I thought about it, and I'm like, I'm not even going to speak on that unless I really feel it. And then the whole, he lied to the police and they walked away and left him, and now they have to deal with all the backlash that comes with that. It's totally similar.
Someone said to her, I'm honestly scared to think how long he would have left her in there if she hadn't have called the cops. This is beyond insane, and it's terrifying behavior. OP responded, me too, and I keep thinking about that. Like, I don't know. It didn't seem like he was going to open the door at any point. Run, girl. Run, run, run. When you got out that bathroom, you just should have just kept going. You should just gone all the way back to your roommate and your best friend, told her what happened. Because I'm sure she would be telling you the same thing that all these commenters are. She'd be like, no, you're never seeing that man again. You are under house arrest at this point. Although that's the last thing she needs is to be confined somewhere else. So another commenter said, yeah, dude kidnapped her and then tried to say that they both could have gotten in trouble. Wrong. He would have gone to jail. This is 100% a serious red flag. You are a victim here, OP. You are not obligated to do anything for anybody, and trying to force you to by holding you hostage is way the fuck over the line. This could be a serious indicator of the type of man who ends up murdering their spouse. He showed you the bare minimum of what he's capable of. Run. Classic example of DARVO. And DARVO stands for deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. Look it up, OP.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you were just saying. OP responded, I will look this up. Thank you. She needs to.
Obviously, she doesn't know any of the other signs because, again, there's no way this is the first time he's done this in a 2-year relationship, I think she said. There's no way.
So somebody said to her, why are you apologizing to this idiot? He held you hostage for 3 hours and then had the audacity to get mad at you for reacting. What he did wasn't cute, it wasn't funny, it wasn't necessary, it wasn't respectful, and it wasn't appropriate. It sure as hell wasn't kind or loving. Please dump this buffoon before he physically injures you. And OP said, I don't think he would physically injure me, but I guess no one thinks that. That's true. Nobody ever thinks it's going to get to that until it's too late, until you're locked in a bathroom.
Right. He was physically injuring you then, maybe not overtly, but he was limiting you from being able to function as a human. What were you going to just live in that bathroom for the rest of your life until he decided to let you out? That's physically harming you. You had no access to food, you had toilet or sink water. What do you mean?
Even physically moving you, if you were fighting back, he could have injured your shoulder or your clavicle or something like that. You could have been physically injured just by him trying to force you into a room.
Yeah, if she would have fought back, like he said, then she could have been injured even further. And she probably would have blamed herself for that too. Oh, I shouldn't have been flailing around. It's so sad that people blame themselves.
Someone else commented under that she should press charges against the boyfriend and file a report against the cops who showed up and did absolutely nothing about her falsely being in prison for 3 hours. OP, don't ever apologize. You did nothing wrong. You didn't choose a wireless hill to die on either. His behavior is a huge red flag or coercive control. Get out now while you can. And OP responded, the cops were not interested in what happened really. The female cop asked me if I had borderline disorder in response to me saying I got uncharacteristically mad. I do not. That reminds me of Gabby Petito right there.
I would be uncharacteristically mad if I were locked in the damn bathroom as well. What do you mean?
Female officer, even. I'm sorry, our police need to do better in many areas, but to know that somebody was locked in a bathroom for 3 hours, you're gonna ask her if she's got
I'm
borderline?
looking up right now what are like the standards for false imprisonment, because how was he not charged? That's what I want to know.
I also want to know what country this is in because she said that she's going to university, and that's something that I hear people from the UK and Canada say. Most people in America will call it college.
Right.
So I'm wondering if this is in the United States, but
Right.
maybe the rules are different there. But I just think it's wild that a female officer is going to look at you and ask if you have borderline just because you got upset in an argument. I'm sorry, but most people get upset in arguments. Sometimes that happens. You might get uncharacteristically upset.
It literally says in here, I'll end with the big one, but the 3 elements of false imprisonment are willful detention, lack of consent, and unlawful justification. Physical restraint is not required for false imprisonment to occur. A claim for false imprisonment may not succeed if the defendant may prove they had lawful justification for confining the individual, such as an arrest warrant or reasonable suspicion of a crime. Here's the big one. Examples of false imprisonment include grabbing someone's arm, locking someone in a bedroom, tying someone to a chair.
Yep.
Where on earth? There's nothing here, and I'm not that deep, but there's nothing here that says it has to go on for a day,
X amount of time. Yeah.
a month, or whatever.
It could be 20 minutes.
Yeah, grabbing someone's arm can be an example. So that can be a second. If you're holding them back from going, from an adult, from going where they want to go, you're falsely imprisoning them. It doesn't matter
Right.
how long. It doesn't matter where they are.
Unless they're trying to like fight somebody or something. Maybe that would be an occasion where it's okay to hold somebody back if they're about to assault somebody or get into a fight, which I assume would be under the whole what you were just saying about what the legal ways to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody said, my friend's husband her, then because he was wasted, thought calling the cops on her was a good idea because she slapped their 6-year-old for saying, this is f***ing bullshit. I've read the police report. The cops described how wasted he was, described the red marks on her throat, corroborating her claim of him her, and even arrested him. And then the prosecutor decided that there was enough evidence to charge him for DV. The entire system is just up. And then someone else said, your friend is quite literally on the edge of homicide. The most dangerous domestic violent offenders strangle their victims. The most violent kill their victims. It used to be thought that all schmishmusers were equal. They are not. Research has now made it clear that when a man puts his hands around a woman's neck, he has just raised his hand and said, I'm a killer. He is more likely to kill police officers, children, and later kill his partner. So when you hear he me, now you know that she is at the edge of homicide. A small amount of pressure around the neck can result in the loss of consciousness as little as 6.8 seconds. Death can occur within 62 seconds. Victims of non-fatal strangulation are at a higher risk of being re-assaulted by their and are 750% more likely of being killed by their abuser. If the abuser has access to firearms, the risk of being killed increases to 1,100%. I hope that your friend has left or at least is making plans. I think OP was just kind of responding to everybody's comments because there's a bunch of comments under all these comments. Mm-hmm. But OP said, so basically I heard them come in, so I was standing at the door. When I came out, they asked me if I was okay, and I said I just wanted to get dressed. They let me. I heard my boyfriend saying I locked myself in there. I came out and they asked both of us what happened. I said I was uncharacteristically mad because of an argument we had. The male cop looked at my boyfriend and like raised his eyebrows like, Woo, what a mess. I just let my boyfriend lie.
Exactly how the cop acted with Brian dirty laundry in the car on the way to the hotel. You poor thing. My wife has anger too. These women are so difficult to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when they're being abused.
I hope that woman divorced that cop too.
I hope so, because that cop sounded like a stage 1 abuser as well.
She says, I just let my boyfriend lie after that because I was just so embarrassed and still had a throbbing headache. The female cop separated me to ask if I was okay and safe. I said I was fine. It seemed like she was going to do something until she found out we don't live together. That's when she asked if I had BPD. I said no, and she suggested I go home. That's all. I don't care if she lives with that man or not. You were concerned until you found out she lived with him? Or she didn't live with him?
Yeah.
Why would
Living-
BPD be the first thing you think about?
It is so weird.
Did they watch the Gabby Petito case or something? Isn't that what they accused her of having?
I don't know. I think there was some swirling around it. Yeah.
And then someone coming under that, I think she meant borderline personality disorder, which can cause meltdowns. Please never speak with that moron ever again. Doing that to a partner is absolutely not acceptable. And then lying like that shows sociopathic tendencies. And OP responded, sorry, that's exactly what I meant. I didn't mean bipolar up there. Got my B's confused.
Nobody meltdowns themselves into being locked into a bathroom again, unless you're being physically violent and that person is trying to contain you. And in that case, he should be the one to call the police and say, I don't know what to do.
Exactly.
And
I was
that's
just
what
gonna
she
say.
did. She called the police because she was being imprisoned falsely for
That's what I
God
was
knows
gonna say.
how long with no end in sight.
I was gonna say, can we talk about how the police are not doing their jobs here? She called the police because she was locked in the bathroom. So why would they accept his reason for her being in the bathroom? Oh, she locked herself in there and then called the police for what?
Yeah.
Sorry, but to me, I'm not even a cop, right? But if I was a cop, I would be automatically thinking this is a schmooze relationship because this guy is obviously lying to me. Something happened to this girl. She would not have called the police for no reason. She seems ashamed, embarrassed. She doesn't even have clothes on.
She didn't lock herself in the bathroom. That's the thing. Like,
nobody would have locked themselves in the bathroom too with just a towel on, begging to get out and get dressed.
Yeah.
Why? And the first thing she wanted was just to go get dressed.
Yeah.
If she locked herself in there, she would have had the ability to unlock herself and go get dressed.
Or even if she went in there willingly to take a shower, she probably would have. I mean, I don't bring my clothes in the bathroom with me all the time, but I don't know. There's so many questions you could have asked to see.
And you could have just looked at the door. Obviously, the lock is on the outside. If there was a lock on the inside, she could have got herself out way earlier.
Well, she says she doesn't know how he locked her in there. She said he got me locked in there and I don't know how. So I think he had something up against the door on the outside, probably. And again, if they would have looked, they probably would have seen something nearby.
I'm not really happy with the cops in this situation either, but then again, when are they ever good in a lot of these domestic violence situations? It takes for somebody to be for something to actually happen. It's sad. I really hope that this girl is away from this man because it's sounding like she's talking herself out of being upset about this and apologizing to him. Why apologize to somebody who freaking locked you in the bathroom over coffee?
Yeah, I would not be asking myself if I was the asshole at all. Not even a question. I would be running.
Oh, so she is in the US because somebody did ask her where she is from. I think because of her saying I went to university. But she could be from somewhere else, but she lives in the US. But this happened in the US. But you read the whole false imprisonment thing. That's for the US. So
yeah,
it's still illegal.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's illegal in Canada, UK, and stuff too.
Yeah, the cops dropped the ball here for suspect.
We don't have an update from her or an explanation on what happened since. I think it happened about a week or two ago, but she posted about it 8 days ago. I'm sure that she came to Reddit too because she knew what her friends would say. She knew what her family would say. I would be concerned if you were to say something to me like, hey, Tyler locked me in the bathroom for 3 hours and I was screaming, trying to get out. I had to call the police. I'd be like, we're running away.
You better believe I'm coming to Texas. I know there have been times where I've texted, oh, I wish I could be there. No, I'm going to be there. For that, I'll be there.
We're running away.
Yeah. I'm
That's
coming to get
scary.
you. Yeah.
That's
Get your
scary.
dog together, get your things together. I'm gonna fly there. We'll take the car back. No, absolutely not.
I really hope that she's out of that, and I hope that she's able to talk to her friends and family about this, because I think seeing all these strangers react the same way must be a good wake-up call for you to be like, "Okay,
I
I
hope
need to
so.
get some help and get out of here."
I hope
Because
she doesn't just dismiss it as these people don't know me or these people don't know him, so they're not getting it.
we
I
don't
hope
gotta know
that
him.
yeah.
Like you
No.
said, it takes one time with somebody. Just like it takes one time to get pregnant, it takes one time to be unalived. He could have gotten a lot more physical with her than just pushing her into a bathroom, and I'm sure that that's just a taste of what would be to come.
Yeah. Either way, it's intimidation, it's disrespectful, it's harassment, it's manipulation on his part when the police showed up. He obviously lied. So,
And mind you, this girl is 20 years old and this man is 27.
yeah.
He is almost 30 years old. He knows better. And
No, he knows. That's the thing. He's dating women like this purposefully, I'm sure.
yeah, I'm sure he's dating women younger than him because women his own age will not put up with that. And
Yeah.
they know. It's easier to manipulate somebody that's a lot younger than you.
Yeah, someone in their first serious relationship maybe came from a family that wasn't quite functional.
A lot of times it happens when you're in your early 20s because you're, like you said, new to the game. This might be
Mhm.
her first time away from her family. She's off in college, living
Yeah.
life.
I feel so bad that she has to learn, and hopefully she's listening, but has to learn from all these random strangers online. She should have had the police telling her, "This is wrong. This is a situation that's if you need to get out
Mhm.
of it, although we can't force you. So we're gonna leave for the night because apparently there's no crime that happened here, even though there was. Here's a couple of pamphlets of some resources you can talk to. You should probably seek therapy. Do you have any family members whose house we can take you to tonight?"
Yeah,
That's the way they should have dealt with that if they weren't gonna take someone to jail, which I'm sorry, but that's the way that they dealt with Gabby Petito, and we all know what happened with that. So it really should have been dealt with appropriately, which is charging this man, or at least starting charges of false imprisonment.
100%.
That's what he did.
And they didn't even separate them. They didn't even say to her, "You need to go home. You need to go back to your
Yeah.
house." They just
He
left and left this
suggested
couple.
for her to go home.
You should go home, and then they leave. Usually, they're
Yeah.
supposed to, I think, make you separate at least for the night, because
Mhm.
what you could be doing is you could be leaving this couple, and then he could actually really hurt her because she called
Mhm.
the police.
Yeah. Yeah,
How
you
many
better
times
believe
has that
she's not gonna be
happened?
able to get to her phone now. I'm sure that it's happened. I'm sure. If this is how police are responding and this is just 2 times that we've heard of it, again, same situation can't be the only 2 times in the world that police are responding this way to domestic situations.
I know that a lot of the time there's not much you can do when people lie about the situation. But like you said, they could be giving her more resources, and they definitely needed to split them up for the
Yeah,
night at least, because they
yeah,
could have escalated even more. You don't think they argued for another 3 hours after that because he was upset
right.
she called the police? And then he's turning it around on her like, "You could both could have gotten in trouble." No, you would have not have both gotten in trouble. If she would
Yeah,
have been
he's
honest
trying to
about.
tell her that he was in the right. That's the only way they both could have gotten in trouble was if she made a false 911 phone call. Well, she didn't. She
No.
called so she could get herself out of the bathroom. And luckily she achieved that, but she had to just fight for her own in that. The police didn't do anything but show up and have the potential risk of him getting in
Mhm.
trouble. That was enough for him to act right for a little bit. And then as soon as the police walk away and he convinces the police, he probably has this whole power over him that he thinks that he can get away with anything. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna come back 10 times worse.
Next time it happens, it's not gonna be just you locked in a bathroom. You
Yeah, and
not
you're
be.
definitely not gonna have your phone
Oh, for sure.
because he
He's gonna
learned
make
that
sure that.
lesson.
And you know what? I don't know what his housing situation is, but he's lucky that it was just her that called the police and not the neighbors and stuff. Because
Mhm.
neighbors call the police on that stuff all the time. Like I've said, I've gotten woken up at 3 a.m. from the police pounding on my door because they
Yeah.
got a domestic disturbance call about my neighbors, but they weren't answering. So they were asking me if I knew anything or if I made the call. And I said, no, I was
Mhm.
asleep. But it scared the crap
Mhm.
out of me at 3 in the morning. That's what people do. If you hear somebody
Yeah.
begging, pleading, pounding on doors and walls to get out of
Yeah.
somewhere. I mean, maybe a few weeks ago, Our neighbors have a baby, and this baby was crying for a very, very, very long time. Like, I was getting concerned for the baby. And I was like, well, I don't know much about with kids when they're really little. I've grown up with a lot of kids, but I don't have one of my own, right? So I'm trying to give it the benefit of the doubt. But I keep saying to Dean, I'm like, something's going on. This baby is just screaming and screaming. I'm getting nervous. So he went over to the neighbors to talk to them and ask them, is everything like, hey? Because I didn't want to just call the police on them. I wanted to make sure I didn't want to do that to them.
Right.
Which they gave him an explanation that he was okay with, and he came back. Sometimes as a neighbor, that's what you do because you don't want to be wrong. I'd much rather be wrong than be right later and find out that I could have done something.
Yeah.
So it could have been the neighbors calling on him as well at some point. If you would have locked her in for longer and she was still screaming, 3 hours is a long time to be locked in.
It is. It like blows my mind that this even happened to this person, and she's sitting here. One, I'm pretty sure still in a relationship with him 8 days later, and two, wondering if she's the one that's in the wrong. This is just insane. I hope that she leaves. You should post this video.
I will. I'm telling you, I'll be really sad if one day I'm watching like an ID discovery case and they talk about this exact instance and they bring up, well, one time he locked her in the bathroom for 3 hours and she called the police and let them leave. Like you said, it's giving Gabby Petito vibes, and I'm not having it. I just think that this guy, get rid of him because he's 27 years old, and if he hasn't done it to you before, I'm sure he's done it in his past relationships. Honestly, if you or anyone you know is dealing with domestic violence, there are so many resources out there. We might throw a couple in our description box. And OP, if you are watching this or listening to this, because I am going to put this in your comment section, this is not healthy. This is not what a real adult relationship is like. I don't care how good he was to you before this. He could have been Prince Charming, but that is a way to manipulate you. So this way, when things like this happen, you'll be like, oh, but he's such a great guy and he's done this for me. It's a way for you to talk yourself out of leaving in a situation that's scary. Not every schmoozer is going to be a schmoozive from the beginning of a relationship. They're going to want to build that trust with you. And this is very controlling. It's coercive. You were physically moved. That's shmusive. That's physical shmushmuse. He locked you and false imprisoned you. And just because he's 7 years older does not mean that he is 7 years wiser. You need to run away
quickly and
never look back.
Don't tell him where you're residing.
And there's so many other men that'll treat you a lot better, even if you smell like coffee, even if you smell like a cigarette, even if you smell like complete crap.
Dog manure. You can roll around in dog manure, and your husband or your man, he will not like it, but he will tolerate it.
Yeah, like I said, Dean likes to smoke a cigar every now and then. And it's rare. He's not a smoker, but he will go out and have a cigar. I don't like the smell of cigarettes and cigars, really. I don't smoke at all like that. But if he were to come and smell like a cigar, I'm just not going to kiss him. I'm going to give it a couple hours, and the smell will fade eventually.
Yeah, my fiance likes to have some beers. I don't like the smell of beer on his breath. I do the same thing. I just kind of stay away from his mouth.
And if he needed to take a shower, I'd say, hey, maybe you should just go rinse off because this is starting to really overwhelm me or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's a fine ask. And if he were to say no, guess what? I can go upstairs and wait.
Remove yourself then.
There's other things I could be doing to where I will take my mind off of his smell. And then by the time I get back to him, he probably won't smell that bad anymore.
You mean the first thing you're thinking about is not locking this man in a bathroom for hours and hours on end?
Yeah.
Wow. This is just completely beyond the scope of anything even close to acceptable. It's not
Being stinky is not a 4-hour long argument because I imagine you guys were arguing for at least an hour before he forced you into that bathroom.
And then afterwards.
By the time he forced you in that bathroom, you probably didn't even smell that bad anymore.
No. I think it's similar to when you walk into a Subway and that stuff does stick on you, but it's not like it's that strong that it's going to, I don't know. I don't even care. I don't even care to argue about that part. It doesn't even matter because he locked her in the basement, the closet, the basement,
bathroom, basement, closet. Any word that starts with a B, if you are locked in that crap, get out of there. Just get out of there.
Bathroom, basement.
I promise you, when you find your person, the one will not lock you in the bathroom.
So true.
They won't do that. This guy is not it. You are 20 years old. You do not need to be tied down to this man anyways. Live your life. Live your best college life. This is the time that you will thrive. Give yourself 5 years. Find the right person. Whatever. But this man ain't it. He ain't even it for people his own age. That's why he's dating younger. I'm promising you that.
Yes. What a pep talk, Miss Ann.
I'm telling you. This man's got a history with somebody. And you just don't know about it.
Mm-hmm. And he's probably still doing this shit. Well, it's been 8 days, so he's absolutely still doing this shit. Probably with her. I hope not with her. Please run away.
I'm telling you, you want to look up his record. I don't even care if he apologizes to you. Because that's another manipulation tactic is, oh, I'm so sorry. This will never happen again. This should have never
completely out of line. Yeah, you were completely out of line and you will do it again. It doesn't even matter if he does it again or not because he's already done it once. And so the intimidation factor is already there.
Yeah.
She's going to fall in line that much more quickly when he says jump because he's already done it. He could never do it again. But she's always going to be fearful of him whenever she disagrees.
Well, because you're always going to know what he's capable of, right? Because now you know he's capable of it. And if he's capable to lock you in a bathroom, he's capable to keep going further and further. He's going to keep testing his luck. Because like you said, when the cops came and did nothing, now he thinks, oh, well, now I'm above the law.
Now I really have to do something major for anything to happen. So I can do all the way up to this at least.
Because the thing is, too, is if you call the cops again, he's just going to say, well, she's called before and it was nothing. So he's going to always...
It's almost like as long as there was no bruises on her, then she's fine. So he can psychologically torture her as much as he wants. And then apparently she'll just have BPD. Need to take a break.
I'm sorry. Police need to do better. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't care if this girl told you she was absolutely fine and, you know, whatever. BPD...
I don't care if she said she went batshit crazy psychotic. It doesn't matter. Unless she was harming him, which never got brought up, there's no reason for her to be locked in the bathroom. And even then, you lock her in the bathroom or you restrain her in whatever way, and then you call the police. You don't let that go on for hours and hours. At that point, it's out of your hands if you were acting appropriately.
Trust me, if I knew what state this happened in and what area this happened in, I would be putting a complaint to this police office. Like, are you serious? BPD? Just because this girl said she got uncharacteristically upset, that means that she doesn't do this all the time. Guess what, BPD? It happens more than once. Like, this girl is 20 years old. I'm sorry. It's like once you said Gabby Petito, now it's just stuck in my head because that's how they
it's stuck in my head too. It's worrisome. This is the pattern of men that get away with shit like this. It doesn't just stop because there was a near miss with the police. It just gets worse.
This is a heavy one today, Chick Chatters, but
sure is.
We're obviously very fired up about it because it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. So everybody hop on to Reddit and let this woman know what her worth is. We certainly want you to know, poster 20-year-old female, that you're worth a lot more than dealing with this, and don't blame yourself. You don't know any better, but now that you know what this guy is capable of, you need to get out. You need to just go. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. No questions asked. No takes the backsies. See you later, alligator.
Yep.
Goodbye.
And I know it's a 2-year relationship. I know sometimes people feel super invested when they've been in with somebody for a couple years, but don't waste any more time. You're 20 years old.
18 to 20 is nothing. That's an investment of nothing.
He was dating you at 18 when he was 25. Questionable. I'm sorry. But what does he have in common with you unless it's that women his own age won't put up with this crap? He has a history, and I know it. I bet if you found one of his exes, they would tell you a similar story that happened to them. I bet. I bet good money on it. Because this is not his first rodeo. He knew he could lock you in that bathroom. I'm always saying to throw him in jail, but throw him in jail. Lock him in a bathroom for 3 hours. See how he feels. Like, geez, I bet he would have called the police on you too.
Yeah, I bet he would be unreasonably upset as well. Leave that man alone.
Goodbye. And we're going to leave this. We're going to say goodbye to you too, Chick Chatters, because we made our point for sure.
We have. All right. Well, thanks for sticking with us, and we will see you next week.
Bye, Chick Chat.